Uh-huh.
there are way too many businesses that are not Black owned that try to be Black owned or a Black facing. If this is the only time and the only place that you want to be considered a Black owned business, to me, don't just pick now. Have you ever participated in any type of Black owned business events or anything, but all of a sudden in some type of magazine or guide you want to be included? To me, I don't feel like that's okay.
Yeah. Welcome to the Kickback with Keri podcast. I'm your host, Keri Henderson, and today I'm kicking back with Adrienne Randle. After having one of the largest Black-owned business guides online with over 1,000 Black-owned businesses featured, Adrienne decided to end the guide last year and launch Evryday Blk Magazine. This magazine is one that focuses on the stories of our community without the celebrity filter. So no trending topics, no recycled success stories, just real people, real businesses, and real community resources. In this episode, we're talking about how we can be more intentional about shopping from Black-owned businesses in our everyday lives, the challenges of launching an indie magazine, and the one word she hopes everyone feels when they flip through an issue. Let's get into this episode. What inspired you to start Everyday Blk Magazine? Which I love that title, by the way, and we could talk about why you chose that title, but what
Okay.
inspired you to start Everyday Blk Magazine?
Thank you. So, one, I will say I've always wanted to have a magazine. Let me just start there. Like I was a 17 magazine girl. Of course, I Essence magazines, Ebby magazine, Jet magazines, Teen Cosmo. Like I was a magazine teenager. Like I love them. I love all the different like quizzes and just keeping up with fashion and stuff. So my dream job was to work for a magazine. But once I got out of college, magazines were still alive, but you could tell they were slowly turning into like zines and everyone's getting like more like online. So Everyday Blk Magazine kind of came about like, okay, this is me following something I've always dreamed of wanting to do and aligns with the work that I do in the Black community, which is continuing to tell our stories, promote our businesses, share our events and other things that's going on. So it just, honestly, it really just like made sense. It's one of those things that I didn't have to, I settled the idea to make sure it was something that was aligned with like my life and my time and how do you go about doing it. But it wasn't a question of like, is it the right thing to do?
What gap do you feel like this magazine kind of fills in, the marketplace? Because I know it's nothing wrong with other magazines, but a lot of them, of course, are celebrity focused. And after a while, it's
Yes.
like the same story,
Yeah.
we hear the same story 500 times. Like I know their backstory 500 times because the same people are featured on different magazines. So why was it important for you to create a magazine like this that wasn't really like celebrity focused or Black celebrity brand focused?
The biggest reason is I feel like Black businesses and Black stories sometimes are pushed to the back because of celebrity drama, gossip, even celebrity businesses, if we're being honest. They kind of get the forefront. They even get forefront when it comes to funding and grants and angel investors. They get it. Like, I'm not saying they don't deserve it or anything, but a lot of these small Black owned businesses who don't get that same type of spotlight they just get overlooked, like completely overlooked.
Agreed.
Completely
Definitely
overlooked.
agree.
Stories. Like there's so many Black, whether it's like creators or just someone who does something amazing for the community, whose stories just never get told because it's not like, unless they did it for a celebrity or unless they did it in like one of the most popular cities, it's not going to get told. No one cares about it. It's like, okay, whatever. So I wanted to make sure that I had a place where we can highlight, of course, Black owned businesses. And these are Black owned businesses, like you said, that are the ones that you probably don't hear about a lot. They're probably the ones that you don't see a lot of on maybe, these big platform pages or anything. And I wanted to tell stories of kind of what the name goes into, everyday Black people. So
No, I feel you. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started the platform is because I feel like when we think of like when you hear the term like Black excellence, right? It's always like someone who's high earning or they're in the spotlight or they have all these accolades. But I'm like, we have small businesses that are doing excellent things every single day that most
yeah.
people don't know about that need to their products, their services, their stories need to be told. So we are in alignment with that, which we talked about that when we had our
Yeah.
own conversations. I think end of last year when we were talking about the directory and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit how you pivoted from so you guys don't know, Adrienne had like this huge directory online. It had like over 1,000 businesses in it, and then
Yeah.
for products, and she had a service based directory as well. Let's talk a little bit about that and how that started and how we got from there to transitioning over to this magazine.
Yeah, so the weirdest thing is that I am an artist and designer first and foremost, but like most people now know me as a person who created this Black directory, which is fine. It's because it's still something I design. But I'm an artist and designer, so Addie Raw is my brand. I have art products and designs under that. That's coloring books, journals, bookmarks, stickers, and mugs. That has been alive since 2014. Addie Raw, my brand. But unfortunately, my father was diagnosed with a terminal cancer and he unfortunately passed away. And when that happened, I needed to like step back from my business. It was a product based business. So we're talking about packing orders, mailing out orders, tracking numbers, customer service. Like it's a lot that goes into a product based business. And being back and forth at the hospital and going to treatments and everything, I couldn't run a product based business and be present where I need to be when it came to my father. So I was like, okay, I'm going to really just pull the plug on my product based business. I am, that's something I'm not afraid of doing, is like stopping when it needs to be. So I technically like pulled the plug and archived my Addie Raw brand, but then I was left with like an Instagram account and a TikTok account that has 30,000 followers, 50,000 followers. I'm like, I just can't like leave these accounts as empty.
Right.
Like I just can't like do that. So I was
You're like, I did all that work to get those numbers. We got to use it for something.
We have to use it for something, and we know how social media is. If you stop using it, you kind of get, the algorithm don't like you anymore. So I was like, I want to keep posting. I want to make sure I'm keep sharing. And if this was in October, so like right before like Black Friday and shopping season, and I said, wait a minute, well, what if I create a holiday shopping guide? This was 2023. I was like, what if I create this holiday shopping guide and I create this thing where people can find other businesses, since my business will not be available for people to purchase. Maybe I'll just share other businesses that people can buy from that's Black owned. So that's how it started. In 2023, there was 2,000. I'm sorry, 2,200. I'm in 2002. I'm putting stuff into existence. No, there was 200.
Listen, we can claim it. We can claim it.
Yeah. There were 200 businesses by the end of 2023 in the holiday shopping guide. That holiday shopping guide turned into, now it's 2024, and people are like, oh, what happened to that shopping guide that you had for the holiday season? And I was like, oh, it was just for the holiday season though. Like it wasn't this, at the moment it wasn't a year round thing. People were like, I would still want to use it. I still like looking at the items in there. So I kind of like redesigned it. It was looking like, it was like kind of Christmassy looking at first. So I redesigned it to make it more like year round. And then it just kind of like kept going.
That's interesting because I did a shopping guide. I think I did it around the same time, but I'm like, I didn't have that many, and that's why I'm like, you got to know what your purpose is. Because I was like, I did that once, and I don't know if I did it the second year, but I was like, this is a lot of work. And I'm just gonna share whoever else does this, because I think that's probably when I came across yours. Because I had 65 in mind, and I was like, oh, we do like a buy black. It was like a buy black shopping guide, and I was like 65 brands, and I was like, yeah, no, this is a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. I mean, honestly, I have to give credit to like my network. Like I said, I had my own business for so many years. So I went to like festivals, meetup, pop-up shops, and I'm that person, like I collect business cards. So I've got all these different business cards. I'm following other brands on social media. So when it came time to even do it, I kind of just like, who would be included? That's what I did. I had all these emails I could like reach out to people with and see if they were interested in being included in everything.
What was one of the biggest lessons you learned creating that guide that has kind of helped you as you transition from the guide to the magazine, you think?
Ooh, one of the biggest lessons I learned was, so this is probably not a good, like, I mean, I guess a lesson. This is a lesson that's relevant today. There are unfortunately way too many businesses that are not Black owned that try to be Black owned or a Black facing, or I don't know what we're calling them, like I don't know what what we're calling them, but they're pretending to be Black. Unfortunately, there's way too many. And I say that as someone who had to kind of filter through and kind of look and say, like, It's one of those things where it's like, well, if I consider myself Black, who are you to tell me? And it's like, I understand that to an extent, but I always feel like if this is the only time and the only place that you want to be considered a Black-owned business, to me, don't just pick now. Nowhere on your website do you have it. Nowhere on your social media. Have you ever participated in any type of Black-owned business, events or anything? But all of a sudden, in some type of like magazine or a guide, you want to be included. To me, I don't feel like that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you're picking and choosing when you want to be Black owned and when you can benefit from it. But then there's also ones who just straight up like completely, we're talking about like not Black people at all, running the business behind the scenes. And they just have like Black models or using Black pens or having shirts that say like, Black language
Black
on
power or whatever.
it.
Anything we would say, they have all
Yeah.
over the shirt. So you're like, oh yeah, that's us. And it's like, no.
Yeah, they selling bonnets. They got Black fists and all this type of things. So you think is Black owned, but they're really not. Oh, they exist, and that was one of those things. I was like, I did not realize how many of these were out here. So,
how do you filter that? Because I think one of the brands I featured in the guide, I didn't know at the time, used to be Black owned, and then it got bought out by somebody else, so they were no longer Black owned.
mm-hmm.
And I think I saw that headline later when that brand was also featured on another major publications like guide, and everybody was like, they're not Black owned, they're not Black owned, they're not Black owned anymore. So how do you filter that out to figure out, yes, you really are Black owned, or no, you're not?
So I would say now, because now with the magazine, I filter it out. I basically do background research. So if business wants to be included, I'm looking at social media, I'm looking at websites, I'm checking to see if it's registered. I'm not saying you have to be registered, but like just checking to see if there's any type of digital footprint out there that can prove that you are, Black owned business. And that was, like I said, that was a big lesson, because with the guide, I didn't have a filter. Like if you wanted to be inside, you can be inside. Any and everyone can, well, not anyone who considers himself a Black owned business owner could be inside. There wasn't any me going back and double checking it and monitoring it. And that was, I have to do that now, because unfortunately people are weird.
All right. Listen, as they say, they want our dollars, they want our art, they want our culture. They just don't like us. What has been the hardest shift, I guess, or the biggest challenge you face creating a magazine, right? Because you've always wanted to create a magazine. You can kind of maybe almost say that was the goal, right? You had the directory, but you kind of led you to the magazine that you're doing now. What has been some of the biggest lessons or the challenges you faced doing that transition?
So one of the biggest challenges is honestly like letting the businesses know that the guide doesn't exist anymore. It exists in like the digital world. Like it's still available. You can still see it. You can still click the links in it, but it will not be updated anymore. And then getting them to like re-sign up for the magazine, like that has been a big challenge that I already knew I was going to run into, because I'm a business owner too, and I get it. Like sometimes when things are hot and it's on the top of your head, you're like, boom, boom, I'm gonna do it, and then it's like, oh, I gotta re-sign up. Your brain is like, I don't want to go through that process anymore. I don't want to think about it. So that's been a really big challenge. Another big challenge, and this is something I'm not like mad about, but I've noticed I need Black men to participate, because just like the guide in the magazine, they are not. It is not a Black women magazine. It wasn't a Black women owned guide. It's a Black owned business, and it's not a Black culture overall magazine. And it is the hardest thing to get Black men to want to tell their stories.
I have the same challenge with the podcast. I'm like, I love us, but I'm like, where are the men that are creating businesses too? Like, we want to hear your story as well.
And it's like, I know they're out there. I know they have their business. I know they have their food trucks and their restaurants. Like, I know they do. But like, I'm not gonna say they don't want to talk about it, but their form of marketing is like, wow, because they don't be needing to be on podcasts. They don't need to be in no guide. They just, so I thank you to the ones that are included, because I do have Black men on businesses I had them in the guide, and I have some in the magazines. I also have, some interviews coming up with some Black men in the magazine too. So I'm excited for those, but it's actually extremely hard to find Black men who want to tell their stories, who want to be included. And I think sometimes that's because they may think, oh, it's not for Black men, just somehow they just think that way. But I try, even with the guide and now with the magazine, I try to make sure it's like, hey, this is not a Black women only.
Yeah. Well, I think too, a lot of the focus when we have a conversation about Black businesses, about about funding, it's always around Black women-owned businesses, and they lack funding. And so I think sometimes men kind of get left out of the conversation. So
Yeah.
they probably feel like, oh, and especially too, if it's a publication created by Black women, they probably think automatically like it's for Black women. We're like,
Yeah.
no, we want it for all of y'all. Everyone,
Yeah.
all of us, Black men and women are included. What are
Yeah.
some how do you go about finding, like, because I know when I was going through the magazine, there's products that are featured, the different articles that you have, the different stories that you're telling. How do you go about finding the products to include or the subjects for the stories that you want to tell through the articles?
So again, I gotta give credit to my social media. I'm like a person who just kind of like make a post and be like, hey, who wants to be included? And
Yeah.
then I just kind of filter through. So even with the articles, some of the articles are people I reached out to because I already knew about them, whether they've been like clients of mine before, or if I worked with them on any other project. And then I also did just like I literally posted on Threads and was like, hey, I'm looking for some, people to interview for the magazine. Let me know. That post got like over 100 like comments, and
Yeah.
I had to like turn it off, like how people can't comment anymore. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, because I can't even understand what I'm reading anymore. And I like went through those comments and like picked through like what I thought would be interesting to showcase in the magazine, and I reached out to everyone. People have been very good with like let me know like, hey, you can DM me or you can email me, so I appreciate that. But I just kind of like an open call, like, hey, who's actually interested, and I go from there and pick through.
What are some of the different, because I've read it, but let the people know the different sections that are in the magazine, because the goal is for it to be for us everyday everyday Black people, not even Black Americans, but everyday Black people. So what are the things that you're talking about when someone reads this magazine?
Yeah, so it has everything from style, that's gonna be like fashion, beauty. So again, not just women focused, but like whether it's skincare or hair care. It has food. I love food, so it
I
has
saw some recipes in there. I was like, no, wait a
yeah.
minute. I said, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it has food in there. It has things, I mean, of course, therapy, mental health. I have some like financial advisors in there. There's a section actually for entertainment and media, like podcasts, authors
I
with
need to
books
submit.
and everything.
I saw on the website. I was like, oh, I need to submit my information.
Yeah. So that so it's a little bit of everything. And the way you did mention like I have a Black owned shopping guide that also had a product based like that, and then there was a separate one for service based businesses. The cool thing about the magazine, I'm combining both in one. So like in the style category, now it can be people who have fashion based product based business, but also if you're a stylist, you can be in that style section as well.
Nice.
If you're in the food section, you might sell seasoning, you might sell tea, but also if you're a private chef, you want to be in that section. So now is a way to kind of have both live together in a more organic way that makes sense, especially as you go through the magazine.
And you also have events too, right?
Yes,
Yes.
the event section. And I'm excited about the event section because we like meeting in real life. We like,
Right.
hanging out, partying, going to
Like, let's
events
be
and
outside,
everything.
please.
Yes. So the idea behind the event section was to feature events from like all over, but not just like concerts only. We kind of know about the concerts that are going on. They're actually pretty easy to find. We're talking about the events that sometimes are not that easy to find, whether it's like a wellness event, whether it is like a business conference, whether it's just like a creative event. There's some cool ones in there, like art and like DJing events. There's some that's focused on. There are some that's focused on just Black women. There are some that's focused on Black men, jazz festivals, and all those type of things.
We love a jazz festival, even though they really be R&B festivals. I'm like, y'all call this
Right
jazz,
now
but
they
y'all got
are.
all R&B artists. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so it's a way to kind of have events for us that's mainly focused on us from all over, so that people can know about. And we're talking about big or small events, not just the biggest worldwide events that you already know about, but maybe the smaller ones that might be like in Jacksonville, Florida, that you never heard of or anything like that too.
What do you think people underestimate about launching a magazine? I know it's bi-monthly right
Yeah.
now. What do you think some people underestimate about putting something like this together? Because I'll tell you this, we had talked, so Adrienne and I had talked in December about doing a directory. And I was like, I'm going to do a directory for Black owned businesses in Maryland. It is now March.
Oh
I have not started. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's a great idea. It is
Yeah.
a fantastic idea. But then I went down the rabbit hole and researched, like, there's different type of directories. You have to look for them in Maryland for Maryland-based businesses. But I looked for those. And then I'm just like, between that and the podcast, and it's just like, girl, we might have to put that on the back burner till later when you have different capacity. So I know, because you're doing this and you have your design business, like what are we underestimating? Because in my mind it was a good idea, and then we talked about it, and then when I really thought about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now. That's a
I'll
lot.
be honest. I think everything is underestimated. Like the type of work that goes into it, the amount of hours that goes into it. First of all, let's talk about the cost of printing. Me saying, "Oh, this is going to be a print magazine." Printing is, and I know because I have printed products as well. But printing something that's full color with that type of quality of paper, it is full color. It's expensive. So, and again, I'm not like funded by a grant or anything. I don't have an investor just throwing me thousands and thousands to
Right.
go get, magazines printed. So I'm getting like the lowest minimum on them printed and stuff like that because they're expensive. So like printing a magazine is expensive. The time it takes, extremely, that was one of the reasons why I was like, absolutely cannot do monthly. That is not going to
Yeah.
work out. Bi-monthly makes a little bit more sense with my life and my schedule and what I know I can do, so that would be the best thing. But it takes a lot. I have like a wall that has like little thumbnails of like all the different pages I need in the magazine. This is like just handwritten. I guess I
Mm-hmm.
handwrite them and I like organize them on the wall first, and then that way I can see it on the wall and say, okay, this is what page one is going to be. Next to page one I need this, and next to this, and then I go and design it. So I have to have like a visual
A visual,
representation of all
yeah.
these different pages that's going to be inside of it before I even start getting on the computer and designing it. I'm thinking about what page is going to make sense next to another page. Like, okay, if I'm going to have a recipe, it needs to probably be next to like the food section. If I'm going to have the, a therapist talking, it needs to be next to something that has to do with wellness. I don't want to have, the food section here and then I randomly have somebody doing their hair and makeup over here. Like, I want to make sure it's
Mm-hmm.
cohesive, and that's where I have like a visual representation. So doing that by itself is like a full day of just kind of like playing Tetris and like moving things around to see what makes sense and how the magazine will flow from beginning to end. And then, of course, like writing the content for it, finding the images, purchasing stock images from it, grabbing
Oh
images
yeah.
myself, which is, yeah, stock images, you got to buy those. So purchasing
Yep.
stock images, figuring out like the color scheme, like it's just so much, it's so much work.
It's a lot.
I love doing it, but I will never sit here and pretend like, oh, it's just so easy. You can do it in a day or two. Like, I am working,
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly kind of like constantly working on, like, even now, I'm already building the content for the next issue and then the issue after that. Even now, 2-3 months ahead, I'm already setting up interviews for the next couple issues. So I'm having to do everything like very in advance. So it's constantly being built and worked on, even though that issue is not even out right now.
Right. Yeah, that is the thing about editorials. Like, you always have to be months in advance
Yeah.
for it to be on time. What's the response been like since you launched in January?
The response have been good. People have loved the print, which I don't know. I would say I was surprised by that, but so many people who are like, I want to get back into collecting print magazines. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy to hold a magazine again. I think people love the concept again of it being more everyday, not celebrity focused. I'm super excited about this next issue because this one's like beefed up more. There is now some stories in there, and that's going to be kind of how it will flow moving forward. So getting to tell some stories, like I said, that you don't hear about, talking about some things we may not hear about a lot. And we're not talking about I'm not talking about like trending topics. So
Yeah.
these are not conversations about what's trending right now, what's popular right now on social media. It's actual real things that may be going on in our community, work that's going on in our communities, whether it's health related, whether if it's even business related, but not the things that are just trendy. I don't want to be repeating conversations that we're already having online. I don't want to keep repeating the same, like I said, story of some business starting that we've heard unfortunately 10 times, 20
Right.
times, on TV shows and on different platforms. I want to be telling new and fresh things every time, which that makes it a lot harder too, because now I'm having to talk to people. Again, these are people who don't have large followings.
Right.
You know, these are businesses that don't have thousands and thousands of followings that are trying to, you know, get more eyes on their business. I'm telling stories about people who, you know, just work maybe at a college or university. They don't have this big job in, like, I don't know, Washington D.C. or something like
Yeah.
that. um, but because of that, I think it makes people feel included and involved, and that's the response and the feedback I've got is like, this feels like I can be in it, like anybody can be
Yes. It feels
in it.
tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. And I actually recently had that conversation with somebody. And I was just like, I don't want to contribute to the noise. There's
Yeah.
already enough noise that between the podcast, and I started like these new episodes called the solo briefing. So they'll cover hot topics, but I'm like, even when I cover that, I don't want it to be the same way
Yeah.
as
It's so
everybody else covers it. Like, we can talk about some business stuff, but I want it to be in a different way because there's already so much noise. I don't need to contribute to any more.
yeah.
Yes,
I
you could
love
get
that.
like more clicks and more eyes on you, but it's like, do I really need it on for that? Like,
Yeah. I love that. I think that sometimes, and that's another big thing that a lot of people may or may not know. I feel like people do know about it if they know me, but I am not a big social media person. Like, I
mhm,
have a big following. I guess you can say I have all these followers on these platforms, but I'm not a big social media person, meaning I don't like posting every day, like I said, just to post something, just to be part of that conversation, especially if it's not anything that directly is like involve my life or even like the Black community. I'm
right.
just not going to just be kind of like talking, contribute to the noise, just to be contributing to the noise. So even with the magazine, it's actually more about living online, but also offline. So marketing it, I've actually been doing a lot more offline marketing, podcast shows, radio shows, in-person events and everything compared to just like a lot of
Social
social
media.
media. Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that because I think the default for a lot of businesses is, of course, social media, and we don't always think about how we can grow our businesses outside of that. So I love that you're doing podcasts, interviews, in person, radio, because I think sometimes those mediums people forget about as like those are opportunities to reach a whole new audience, probably faster
Yeah.
than you would with social media.
Yeah, and you don't have to fight with the algorithm. I've always That's what I gotta
Mm-mm.
always go back to. You're not fighting with the algorithm. If it's a podcast, they already have their audience. Instead, radio shows. Thankfully to the radio show I've been on a couple times, they are syndicated across I think like 90 different cities. So it's just like you're getting into so many people's ears. Where if we're being honest, the way the algorithm is set up right now, we don't know who's going to see it. Unfortunately, like,
Facts.
and you don't know when they're going to see it because they can see it 2 months after you post it. So it's just like,
Like, we could be promoting something and it's over.
yeah, exactly. So I have gone the way I've have to. I guess you can say like back old fashioned, as people can
Hmm.
think about it, but more of that boots on the ground, going out to networking. Like I said, having a physical magazine helps because you can take this tangible magazine and say, hey, here's the magazine as well too.
Well, I will keep that in mind because I'm actually part of this. Like, it's for like solo or independent podcasters. Someone founded, like, it's called Podground. She founded this platform. So people are in there all the time, like, I'm looking for guests for this. I'm looking for guests for this. So I will keep you in mind. If someone is looking for someone who does publications, design, I will have somebody, or I may just go in there and drop, like, if you all need someone that fits this category,
Yeah,
hit her
absolutely.
up
I'm
for
okay
sure.
with it. I love it.
Tell us a little bit about your design services because you're working on the magazine, but we had mentioned before you did products, and I know when I looked on your website, now you work with businesses to kind of do design work for them. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically I like freelance, do contract work for other business owners, or some are not actually not even business owners. They're I guess you can. I mean, I don't like to call them like content creators either, but individuals who may want to create a product, whether it's just like this one-off product for whatever reason, they may want to create it. And I also work with like companies too. I've worked with a couple companies who needed some projects done. So I always say that the services I provide is this very unique service that you don't hear about a lot, that you would never think that that was something that someone does for a living. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I am a layout designer. So I create journal layouts, planner layouts, but also workbooks, manuals. I do a lot of digital work too. So digital planners, digital workbooks, ebooks, designs. And what that looks like is like completely white paper. Like it's nothing on the
Mm-hmm.
screen at all. And all they're
Mm-hmm.
giving me is just the text. Like they're not sending me anything but just the words that goes on the paper. I go in and I design every box, every line, every
Nice.
shadow. They might have like infographics or maybe images that goes into it, but I design everything from scratch. It's not template based, so it's completely customized to maybe their branding, their font, the feel of their business that they may have going on. And I do custom work for the interior and the cover design as well. And I prep all my clients so that they need it printed or they need it on digital platforms. Everything's good to go. So the end result looks like me giving them the files. And if they're getting it printed, all they have to do is send it off to get printed or just upload it for like digital, but they don't have to do any work once
Any work.
they final files. Yeah.
Nice. Well, if anybody needs design work, please hit up Adrienne for
Yes.
that. Where would you like to see Everyday Magazine in the next year? So if we were to get back on the podcast a year from now, what would be
Okay.
the update?
Man, I would love to be able to have enough funding to have more print copies of the magazine and have it be in, I'm not even gonna say even like Barnes and Noble, they have like their magazine sections, but not that, but even like in coffee shops and
Mm-hmm.
hair salons and those places. But I would need funding to be able to print that many magazines to be able to provide them to those type of locations. So I would love that. I would love to help contribute to getting print media back in the hands of people while they're waiting to get their hair done, while they're
Mm-hmm.
waiting to get their nails done, maybe even like some schools, after school programs. That's what I 1 year I'm aiming for that.
We're claiming it.
Yes, yeah.
We are claiming it. Before we wrap up, I want to do some rapid fire questions. Well, no, actually, before rapid fire, I had another question for you because you and I are probably synergy wise in terms of like our missions with our platforms and what we're trying to do for small businesses. And one question I thought about was how can we position people to not think about buying black as something that's trendy, but it's
Okay.
a lifestyle, right? Like I know for me, so I just switched over to like this Real is Paper is a brand that has like toilet paper, paper towels, a black owned brand. Someone posted about it on TikTok. I was like, okay, next time I need paper towels, I'm gonna buy them instead. So like, I'm making small changes, but how do you think we can kind of encourage people like don't just buy black when it's the holiday season or when it's Juneteenth or it's Black History Month, but it really is switching and it may be a little bit inconvenient because it's not as quick as going to the grocery store or getting it off, those big marketplaces. But how can we convince people like it's worth making those small inconvenient changes, for the long haul?
I think that one, know where you can find them, so
Mm-hmm.
things like directory, whether it's a local one like the one you're going to do or like the magazine or any other directory. So knowing where to find the businesses and make sure so you don't have to make those posts, unfortunately, on social media is like, what are black owned businesses? Y'all tag me 20 black owned businesses and everybody just commenting their stuff. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do that. Know where you can go, know where you can find these directories at. Make that a party. Download the app to your phone. Bookmark the website already. Have it ready and available so you don't have to ask questions. Because I feel like when people say they can't find them, that also deters them any further. So if you can easily access finding that list or that directory or that guide, I would hope that it makes people want to make it an easier lifestyle.
Yeah.
Another thing that I suggest, like which is what I do probably the most, is I shop black on, for like gifts and everything. Like that's one of the big reasons and things I do when it comes to buy black owned products and everything. Because in the end of the day, you always have a birthday. You always have
Mm-hmm.
somebody. You always have like a coworker you got to buy something from, a baby shower that's coming up, a wedding that's coming up. Those things too. That's all year round. That's not
Yeah.
just Juneteenth. That's not just Christmas season. That's all year round. You are going to need gifts for someone else. So even if you feel like maybe transitioning your whole lifestyle, which that does take effort, but even if you're saying like, man, I just can't transition my whole life to just going black on with all my everyday products and toiletry and everything, how about you just switch your gift giving? change your gift giving and only give out gifts from Black owned businesses, because one thing we both know, there's Black owned businesses that make every single thing that you are buying as a gift for
Everything.
someone, you can buy. So a purse, there's so many Black owned handbags and purse companies now. You don't have to go buy that Coach bag. Like you can buy a Black owned purse. There's mugs. You don't got to buy that most popular mug. You can buy a Black owned mug, whether it's a journal, whether it's a notebook, whether it's makeup. You want to buy makeup for your friends, you want to buy perfume from a friend. First, start with just buying that Black owned as a gift to your best friend. And if you can challenge yourself, like, okay, this year, I'm going to buy all my gifts from a Black owned business, you will be surprised about, like, wow, I didn't have to go shopping at, a certain store or anything like that. I didn't have to go spend money on this designer brand. I was able to find all this stuff Black owned, and it's going to still be quality. Honestly, the prices are actually going to probably be lower, if we're being honest, if we're comparing it to like designer stuff. And then you also might get like a little special extra good, because one thing about Black owned businesses, we love adding a little freebie into the package.
They're gonna give you a card for a coupon for your next purchase, y'all. Y'all gonna get some 10% off, okay?
You're gonna get a coupon, you're gonna get a stamp card, you're gonna get a little sample of their other scent they have, you're gonna get something. So I think that's what I would say. Try to encourage yourself doing that. And then I feel like it'll make it easier for you to like now change your lifestyle and do it with your everyday need things too.
I love that advice. I actually did that for Galentine's Day. So my friends and I had a Galentine's Day dinner. So I surprised them with gifts, and all the products were Black owned. And then another friend, she surprised us with tumblers, and they were Black owned. So we were all thinking like, yeah, we're going to get it from all these Black owned businesses.
Yeah. I love that. That's why I said people need to just challenge yourself, like that we're about to go into like the spring, and like that's a lot of birthdays, baby showers, weddings and stuff. Challenge yourself. Buy the gifts from Black owned. There's wine glass companies that are Black owned. Like there's wines in general that are
I have
Black
some wine back
owned.
here. That's all Boy Crew wines back there.
Yes, see, that's what I mean by you. We can. It's more. It's way easier than people think. Honestly, sometimes
I think so. I think sometimes we're just so used to the convenience of being able to, like, I can go to the store down the street, or I can buy this online tomorrow and get it tomorrow at 5 p.m. When it's like, y'all, if you plan and you're intentional, it's not that hard.
Right, but so you got to plan a little bit. You do have to kind of give yourself a week, a month, or a couple weeks in advance. But if you plan, again, having the list will help you plan that too. If you already know about the businesses, you don't have to say, "I just found out this business yesterday." You have the list already,
right?
You can, plan it.
Right. So we're gonna hop into some rapid fire, because this might be a hard one for you, because you have seen, worked with, been in contact with a ton of Black owned brands. But what is one of your favorites? I know.
So
I know.
Oh wow, that is so hard. Ooh, okay. It's too many. I can't even think of like my. There's too many in my head that I can't even think of one. But let me hold in.
She said,
Let me just okay.
focus.
I'm gonna say the one I just used this morning. Acquired Taste. Shout out to Acquired Taste. They make incense holders. I think it's just incense holders, but okay. I have incense holders for them, and Black owned, beautiful. They look great. They're all stylish, like incense holders too, like a camera, lips, and a sneaker, and all these different things. So really cute decor as well. I just lit my incense this morning, so yeah.
What are you currently reading right now? I feel like us girlies are going on this, we're in a book renaissance, and maybe that's just because of my TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. And so we're all reading all the things, and we're all reading the same type of book. So what are you reading right now? What's some of your favorite reads?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know I don't know the title. I can't think of the title of the book I'm reading. So I am a multiple book reader. It's so bad. So I'll be reading a physical book while also listening, not at the same time, but I'll be listening to maybe 2-3 books, because I'm a mood reader. So sometimes I'm like, I want a spooky book. So I started a spooky book, but then like later that week I'm like, I want something lovey-dovey. So now I'm reading a romance book, but I didn't finish the spooky book before. So it's like right now I have like 4 pending books. But I'm a big romance person.
Me too.
I love contemporary romance. Jasmine Guillory is one of my favorite authors. Tiffany Jackson, that's not romance, but I just finished Scammers not too long ago by her, which is a young adult book, but I love young adult books. But And there's the book I'm reading now. I honestly, my brain cannot think of the author or even the title of the book, but I'm listening to a book right now. But yeah, I do multiple books at one time.
Gotcha. Okay. Last question. What's one word you hope people feel when they read Everyday Blk Magazine?
Inspired.
I love that. So everyone, make sure you guys check out Everyday Blk Magazine. Adrienne, please let everyone know where they can connect with you, they can connect with your design services, and where they can purchase Everyday Blk Magazine.
So find Everyday Blk Magazine at everydayblk.com. And this is spelled EVRYBLK.com. That's also the social media. Right now, only on Facebook and Instagram at Everyday Blk Mag. You can find me at my personal website is by Adrienne, ADRIENNE. That is my personal website. I am also Addie Raw on all social media platforms, ADDIERAWR. That is my brand. So everything is housed under Addie Raw. Even if you go to addiraw.com, you're going to end up getting filtered back to Everyday Magazine. So it's all kind of it's all filtered in together. My email addresses are on my websites. They're pretty public. My contact forms are pretty public. I'm also a person who don't shy away from DMing me or emailing me.
I DM'd her, y'all. She's very accessible.
Yes, I am not that person. People sometimes are surprised, like, I'm surprised you even answered me back. Or, I'm surprised you even wanted to talk. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. Who am I? Like,
when I sent you that message, I was like, hey, I have a question. Are you free? You're like, sure. And I was like, oh, okay.
Like, long as I have free time, like, sure, absolutely. Why? Like, I want to. I'll say this: if you have a question, like even about like a magazine, starting a magazine, designing, what program I use, and you want to like kind of like do a little chit chat, just email me or DM me. I promise you, if I have the free time, I'm gonna probably say yes, like regardless, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But it just depends on like my free time of when I can do a call. Can I just send you a quick link of some information or anything? But I always encourage people to not be afraid to reach out to people like me because I have so many years of experience, not only as a business owner, but as a designer, as an illustrator, as an artist in this industry. I have worked with a lot of these big companies that we know about. So if you have questions about like, hey, what's the process of, getting this type of partnership or just anything, just reach out to me. If I can't answer it, I'll be honest and say I can't, or I might point you in the direction of someone who can. But I am honest. I am one of those people who, when I say, hit me up. I used to have I used to charge and have like one-on-one sessions that I would charge for. And I stopped doing that for multiple reasons. One, I didn't have the time to do it anymore. So charging people kind of didn't feel the best when my schedule and my lifestyle changed. Also, it wasn't even about gatekeeping. It was about like time, but also I feel like I want to help people as much as I can. And long as they're considerate of my time, I don't mind hopping on a 15-minute, 20 call to give you some suggestions and advice. Now, I can't walk you through every step. Like, again, it's just a time thing, but I'll give you as much as I can, like information-wise.
And what was the inspiration for the spelling for Everyday Blk? Or that's just a design? Is that just a design thing?
It was a design thing. Okay. But I also wanted to make it so that like especially with a magazine, you want it to be unique. You want the title to be stand out. But I also register both, so.
I mean, listen, protect yourself, girl.
I own the regular version spelling too.
Good. Because I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. But I liked it because it does look editorial the way it is spelled. So I was just curious. I was like, I wonder what inspired her to do it that way.
A couple letters away to make it fit, kind of thing.
Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I appreciate you sharing your time, letting us know all about Everyday Magazine. Those of you who are tuning into this episode, thank you guys so much for checking this episode out, and I will see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this episode, drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Kickback with Keri newsletter.